Hello. So last episode we took it for an MOT, and I'm sure you're all wondering what the results were. So let's see. It was a pass, and with only a few advisories. So we had an advisory on the passenger seat was missing at the time of the test, which you saw I took out. The headlamp had a product on the lens, but not seriously reducing light output offside. That's because it was a bit condensated, so he had to advise on that. There's an oil leak, but not excessive. He said that was around the sump plug, so I could have crushed the washer a bit. And the subframe is corroded, but not seriously weakened. So Twingos have very rusty subframes, so I'll give that it was just surface rust, so we'll give that a surface clean and treat, and that's all good. So yeah, pass. Good job. Time to make it a race car. Right, so the Twingo only has 58 horsepower, which is not a lot of horsepower. So the only thing we can do, really, because I don't intend on doing an engine swap or anything mad like that, is to make it really light. And we started doing that. It's got some stuff in there from another car. So we took out the rear seats, and everything else that I took out is in this box. So we're going to weigh that, and then that will give us an idea of how light we're getting. And then we're going to take, probably not all of this out in the video, but we'll take out this back trim, at least get the back half of the car completely stripped out, maybe the headlining. I do have a lead to get some alloy wheels to replace these, so that will lighten that, and then we'll need tyres for those because they're going to be 15-inch alloy wheels. Might strip the carpet out the front all the way up to the dashboard. Yeah, but let's get weighing. But first, before we do anything, I want to introduce this week's video sponsor. A sponsor, you say? Yes, the sponsor is me. I'm sponsoring this video. I talked about this on Twitter and on Twitch a few times, and there seemed to be some demand for it, so I have started a Patreon. There's multiple little levels there. If you want to chip in a few quid every now and then, more than welcome, because now it's past its MOT. This is where, well, regardless of whether it passed its MOT or not, this is where the money was going to start being needed, and it's all very appreciative. I do it in my spare time between work. Have a family that don't really want me to spend all the money on this rather than them, which is perfectly fair enough. So this is really my hobby. And the other thing that I also have is I do have a merch store. So I've had this from my Twitch stream for quite a long time, and I never really promoted it because I was very rarely streaming on Twitch. But this is by far the most popular use of it. So there's a link below for both the Patreon and my merch store, and whatever funds from that turns into profit, that is all getting spent on this car. And the Patreon particularly has a few higher tier levels where you get things like YouTube credits, and I will write your name in the car somewhere, so probably when we have a roll cage it'll be written on there for all of eternity. And if you really want to go mad, there is a really top tier one where we can work together and we will work out a decal to go on the outside of the car, so it looks like an actual race car with sponsors, but it's going to be random things. So go have a look, go check them out, and if you are so inclined, then drop a little cash that way. Alright, so this is the spare tyre. There's in the spare tyre well. This is included in the weight of the car from new, which was 925 to start with. So let's see what this is actually. $10 kilos. Right. Yeah, we'll call that 10 kilos. And then other things we have in here. And we have all this stuff that comes with it. That's not as heavy as I thought, so reflections. That's only another 3 kilos. Away with the carpet separately. These I think are gonna so that's a kilo just for one of those seat belts, so that's 2 kilos. It's gonna be very hard to weigh. I don't think this is going to weigh enough at this point to bother doing that, so 25 off the rear seats, 12, 13 off this, and a kilo for each of the seat belts, so that's 15, so that's 40 kilos down. 925 to start, so what, 885 now? I reckon these seats are going to be 25 kilos a piece each. They're probably the super weight saving, and obviously I'll have to put a seat back in, but it will be lighter. Yeah, interesting. Right, so that's this side stripped out a bit. Got the camera ready to do the other side. That's all the trim panel taken out. Speakers gone from there. Plastic trim panel there. Plastic trim panel here. That's the rear shock absorber top mount. These are 3 bolts we're holding in a very heavy bit of metal, which was the seat back retainer. And I believe the roll cage I'm going to get for this, spoiler alert, actually makes use of these mounts because they are already like done by Renault to take the load of crashes. So it bolts into these 3 at the back. You have the pillar go up there, then you have the main hoop here, and then all I need to do is drill 2 holes in the floor, however many it is, down there to bolt it. So it'll be a bolted roll cage. So that's this side. You can see the little catch for the bottom of the seats. Lots of wiring, which is presumably to rear lights and things. So now do the other side. So that's that side stripped out as well. Pretty much the same as this side. This has a washer fluid line, but what's this? Is this a secret drug mule car? Just a bunch of foam shoved in the wheel well. That's the speaker wire. So we're looking this side. I'm going to flip you over. Well, I guess that's just some sound deadening. Right, so next up we'll do the 1 bit of trim on the boot. And then if I can find my Stanley knife, I'm just going to cut this carpet out. Building up quite a sizable pile of bits now. This thing looks like it's only held in by a couple screws up there. Right, that's that off. So this is going to be noisy as heck. It was already quite boomy driving around to the MOT station beforehand, but it's really going to be race car noisy now. I think future me will take this out. This is the rear windscreen wiper. Because I don't really need it. And then I can get a blanking kit for this because this is quite a hefty weight. Bit saved at least. But yeah, let's see if we can go cut a bit of this carpet out as well. Good news everyone, don't need the sponsorship now. Found £1 in the car, so we're all sorted. I mean, it is the old style pound coin, so I'd have to send it away to a bank. What date is this? 1983. Older than I am. Stop the presses, we've got more money. Here's some old, or maybe not old, 10p's. 2005 and a 2000. Right, £1.10, we're off. But yes, as you can see, this would be a lot easier if I took the seats out. I could rip the whole thing out in one go. But I'm doing this on my lunch break, so that's not happening. Yeah, promising little start. You might have seen me on the time lapse playing with this. So one thing I have noticed is the handbrake indicator on the dashboard doesn't actually illuminate up, and there's just a connection here, so that might need a bit of a clean. We shall see. But we'll leave it there for today. So yeah, final tally for one lunch break. All of this. There is some weight in there. But there's more stuff in here, but we'll measure that another time, probably in between videos. I won't bore you with weighing bits of plastic. I'll just pop something up on screen if I do it before I publish this video. If not, we'll talk about it in the next one.